Hello and welcome to the second match of the league. Looking at this board, I had 5-2 first of all, and there are two nice choices for 5-2 here. You could pick up a junk dealer or a rebuild. Now the rebuild is obvious. You just play rebuild, turn estates into duchies, duchies into provinces, and carry on that way. The junk dealer is less obvious what you want to do with a junk dealer. I'm not entirely sure, but I concocted this perhaps too fancy plan in my head that I would like to get thin with junk dealer so that I can pay a tournament and province together, so that I can get bag of gold, so that I could use bishop on bag of gold to get lots of points and just keep, getting 4 or 5 points a turn using the bag of gold bishop trick. There is no action on the board. The only source of action would be in the prizes with the steed. So I would like to pick up steed plus bag of gold and then just keep turning points over into a kind of a bishop gold on deck thing. That was my plan. Of course, the rebuild thing looks fine. It looks perfectly reasonable to open on 5-2. It looks a reasonably quick and effective strategy on the board, but I didn't go for it. I decided to go for this junk dealer thing. So my opponent goes for warehouse and silver. Not entirely sure if he wants to go for rebuild, although it looks like it. The warehouse is an excellent card for the rebuild. Or if he wants to go for a junk dealer. Now, again here I'm gifted with another 5 cost, and I'm not sure what to do with it again here. Tournament crossed my mind. Junk dealer, I go for another one, thinking that, okay, I want to be thin, faster, so that I can set up my tournament and province thing very quickly. So I go for the second junk dealer here. My opponent plays his warehouse and actually doesn't come up with 5, which is a bit unfortunate for them. They just come up with 4, meaning they didn't find their silver, and goes for a catapult. Now in the chat you see my opponent says the catapult, okay, it helps him to trash, but it also affects my junk dealers. Usually when you hit with discard attacks you would want to discard your bad cards, but you would also like to trash those with junk dealer, so there's a conflict of interest really. So here I also pick up a catapult. I think that it is important, especially seeing him go for the rebuild here, to play that catapult as a discard attack as many times as possible. It prevents him from getting to 5, which is very important to pick up another rebuild, and it also prevents him, probably, from getting to tournament. With the warehouse in his deck, the warehouse doesn't like the discard attack, the rebuild doesn't give him any money, so if he's down to 3 cards, I think it's quite difficult for him to get to, definitely quite difficult to get to 5, and somewhat difficult to get to 4 for the tournament. I do pick up a tournament on my last turn there, looking for some money to try to build up to buy province. So this is a part of the game that I didn't take into consideration too well, that I would need actual money to keep buying. Not to keep buying, but to buy the first province, and especially so in the face of my opponent's catapult. He is hitting me with it fairly regularly here, and I really need quite a bit of money to be able to buy a province through a 3-card hand. Alternatively, I could just wait and hope that he doesn't have it, but that's not the best of plans, right? And here, like, I'm almost out of things to trash with the junk dealer. I consider trashing my junk dealer with a junk dealer here, and I think I do go for that plan. I would have really loved to hit 6 on this hand here. Hitting 6 here meant gold, and then perhaps I would have been able to pick up a province on my next turn. So make him discard again here. I don't have 6, so I think either venture or tournament is best. I go for a tournament, keeping in mind the double gain of the prizes, trust the steed into bag of gold. So here, this is a little bit unfortunate for me. I think my opponent plays the warehouse, right? And then he plays the tournament, not the tournament, the catapult. This wasn't the unfortunate thing. So he plays the catapult, so he has to use his entire turn when I hit him with a catapult just to do something like that, right? He can't buy anything. Not that he wants to buy anything necessarily, but it does slow him down a bit. So here, again, thinking about what to do with this junk dealer. I don't have 6 again, so like I mentioned before, this is an aspect of the game that I neglected to put enough thought into, and it really hurt me here. I should be buying the province already. This is turn 9. I have taken way too long. I said I wanted to go fast at the beginning of the game, but I have not lived up to my word so far. 4, in light of the lack of money, is going to be a silver here, and this is the turn, right? So my opponent plays his rebuild. He has 2 cards in hand. The only way he can buy tournament, which is if he has the 2 silvers together in his hand there. He didn't play any warehouses or anything, and he has it. So that's real bad because now he has tournament, province, and a warehouse in his deck. Looks pretty likely that he'll get to prizes before I do. So I think that's mostly my fault for not building properly, I think, in the early parts of this game. Fortunately, he doesn't get the tournament together with the rebuild here, with the province here. But I don't have a province yet, so he definitely has another turn with which to do so. Also, I've run out of treasures to make my opponent discard, so now it's a lot easier for him, especially with the tournament and the 2 silvers in his deck, to get to 5 to buy another rebuild. And here he does something pretty, smart, showing that he's paying attention to what I'm doing. He trashes a silver out with the catapult, but I think the idea here is that, okay, I've seen that you've trashed your junk dealers, so now I'll start putting junk back into your deck. The catapult doesn't really like to be trashing curses. It really would prefer to be trashing treasures. Even, non-treasures but more expensive things is okay, but I feel like the discard attack is the best route here for a catapult. So he does put a curse into my deck and make me discard down to 3 here, basically telling me that I cannot buy province still. The venture fetches me the silver, which is decent against discard attacks, but still not enough money, and there you go, he reacts, right? So this collision of the tournament and the province here kinda puts the final nail in the coffin for me here. He is able to take the steed, which is perhaps the best prize just because there's no actions on the board. It also provides a slight amount of draw, but that would be all the draw that I would need with the deck that I wanted to build, right? It would be something like steed, double tournament, bag of gold, bishop. That's it, and we just take points off the bag of gold and bishop unless we need to do otherwise. I'm not sure how that would have played against somebody who was going strictly for rebuild. If you're going strictly for rebuild, I think you could get something like 24 points at the end of the game, but be able to end the game very, very quickly. So, I mean, bishop on gold is 4 points, so I'd have to play that 6 times or so. I don't know, it's unclear to me. I could also gain duchies and trash those with the bishop, so I just wanted to try something a little bit different. I can't say for sure that it was worse than the rebuild thing because I felt like I built a little bit badly. My opponent in the chat here, you see that he says that he feels like the second junk dealer is excessive for me because I ran out of catapult fuel near the end. So he collides again here and picks up the followers, which is again more bad news for me, just like Catapult, huh? Just like Catapult, except you don't have to trash. Makes me discard and gives me a curse is what I mean. I never noticed that similarity until just now. So, it's very clear where game 1 is going. I think my opponent, I know that my opponent wins this game. I do resign in short order here after my tournaments get blocked by him on one of these subsequent turns. So that's another key point to picking up the province as quickly as possible. It might just be that buy and rebuild is the quickest way to get the province on this board. That might be the case. Bishop here just to try to, thin a little bit, salvage some points maybe. I'm not really sure where this is going. Him taking the coppers out of his deck didn't hurt, meaning you usually don't want to see your green cards with rebuild in hand, but the warehouse is able to fix that no problem. So while also thinking about this bishop golden deck plan, I neglected catapult on the board because catapult would make me. Initially I was going for classic bishop golden deck thing where you just have money and bishop and buy a province every turn, but catapult wrecks that, and I didn't think about that at the beginning of the game, so I had to kind of readjust, but I don't think I readjusted well. And even if I readjusted well, I'm not sure that 8 would have been competitive even. So anyways, this game is gonna peter out to a conclusion soon. 5, I'm gonna pick up back at junk dealer here. I'm just trying to hold on for as much as possible. If by some, wild stroke of luck, all my tournaments do manage to get triggered, and maybe I might be able to do something. I don't know. I doubt, because he could just use his rebuilds to turn province into province and make the game a lot shorter. So he has 18 points now, meaning all of the states have been rebuilt into province. Finally, here I'm able to pick up a province turn 16. No, 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 no. Way too late. That's like twice as many turns as I should have taken to pick up that province. So I need to stop thinking about rebuild with just contempt in my mind. Not actual contempt, but and think of it as, maybe try to find some unconventional uses for it, like using it here strictly to gain province, for instance, and then using tournament to pair up things. Anyways, this is the turn that prompts me to resign, so thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.